Redeem Connection is a sort of a kind of a new work. I'm gonna let Adrian tell you a little bit about it, but they're doing a great job here in the city of Joliet. First of all, I want to introduce you to Reverend Adrian Heath. Reverend Heath, Redeem Connection.
Thank you so much.
Not a sermon, okay? Not a sermon.
Okay, all right. Again, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Will County Board, Waste Management. Special thanks to Pastor Herbert Brooks and Denise Winfrey for recognizing the work that we're doing with Redeem Connection Ministries and within the community. I also want to say that this check will help Redeem Connection Ministry to continue to provide valuable services to our communities by addressing employment, training, empowerment training classes, as well as things such as economic, family, community, recovery, and spiritual needs. One of the things that I want to say is that through our empowerment training program, one of the things that we have really noticed is that this really takes off. We do a 8-week paid training program, and then after our participants graduate from that program, they are able to be given referrals and placement for an additional 8 to 12-week summer job training program. And this here is really have benefited many within our community. This is our 3rd consecutive year in doing it. All of our information is on our website. Our office is located at 205 East Clinton Street, Suite 3. And our website is redeemedconnectionministries.org. Again, there you are able to see some of the testimonies from those who graduated from our program and some of the work that we're doing in training them. I want to thank you again for this opportunity.
Once again, Waste Management, Dale Holstra, thank you so much for this check for $5,000. Don't forget to pay my tithe.
All right.
Okay. Oh, let's get the picture.
Just a couple of quick words. Waste Management has long had a large operating presence in Will County, as most of you know. And we have a lot of employees who actually live in Will County. We think that's excellent, and we also encourage their community involvement, but we also believe as a company that we need to be involved with communities, which we have operations in. And I think these 3 donations that you witnessed this morning are fine examples of that, and we look forward to a great ongoing partnership with Will County with our operations here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
Next, we have County Board Member Lori Summers, recognizing September as Suicide Awareness Month. She'll read from her desk. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Walsh, and good morning, everyone. As we know, last November, we passed a resolution recognizing September as Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month for the County of Will. As we indicated last November, that Each year, more than 41,000 individuals die by suicide, leaving behind their friends and family members to navigate the tragedy of loss. And unfortunately, that increases the loss of those same survivors as the incidence of suicide increases after losing a family member from this. In Illinois, more than 1,000 residents die each year by suicide. The suicide attempts average 16.7 every day, with deaths averaging 2.9 every day. 13% of suicide deaths occur among individuals 70 years or older. The risk of suicide is increased by more than 50% in individuals affected by depression, and roughly 90% of those who die have one or more brain disorders. One of the things that our warrior for Will County, Kayla Duchess, has asked us to do is to break the silence, continue talking about this, and recognize this as a disease just like any other disease. She has been working tirelessly and continues to do so, and I am very proud to say that our county is on the front line of doing this. If you or someone you know is thinking about suicide, or if you're seeing changes in them, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK, or a crisis line of Will County at 815-722-3344, and let's continue to break the silence.
Thank you, Lori. Next up is a recognition of People's Climate March and the Rise for Climate Jobs. And Mr. Ken Harris.
Point of order. Never mind, I think it's taken care of.
Mr. Harris.
Yeah.
Mr. Executive.
Mr. Mustis.
Yeah, this, my understanding, this was a request of Jackie Trenier. She's not here to read it or explain it, and I'm going to make a motion to remove this from the agenda.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second, who second? Mr. Ballage.
Wow.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Brooks?
Yes.
Summers,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Rice, Harris,
Yes.
Benefield,
Yes.
Fritz, Gould, Militello, Balich,
Yes.
Frizzalone,
Yes.
Winfrey, Parker, Staley Ferry, Dollinger, Markham, Hart, Tumanello, Weigel, Ferry, and Mustis.
Yes.
Thank you.
20 affirmative, 1 negative.
Mr. Executive, can I make one other comment, please?
Well, motion has carried. Yes, Mr. Mustis.
I want to point out to county board members, honorary resolution or the section really historically has been about something is special or check presentation or so forth. It's not necessarily for these other types of you want to announce an event or whatever. It's really not for that purpose. But I want to point out to every single county board member that at the end of the meeting, there's county board member comments. If you want to bring something up or you want to read something to talk about an event or something that's in an area, that would be probably the more appropriate place to make comments or read something off. Every county board member, like I say, you're never cut off. County executive doesn't cut anybody off during their comments. So it gives you ample time to talk about any issue, any event that you might choose. It's trying to manage the meeting, and trying to make it as efficient as possible, of course. We need to probably be more selective on what actually a proclamation is. I'm going to ask Mr. Brooks, along with Mr. Mayor, to maybe try to give some kind of parameters on what you want under what we were going to do under proclamations, and others, things that should just be under county board member comments. So, I just wanted to say that before we moved on. This isn't to not allow people to speak or talk about something they feel is important. You can do that. Okay?
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Executive.
Thank you. Moving on. Next up, recognize NTSAD Day of Hope. County Board Member Don Gould will read from his desk.
Mr. Executive, I would like to recognize the National Tay-Sachs and Allied Disease Day of Hope on September 15th, 2018. The NTSAD is one of the oldest patient advocacy groups in the country, serving since 1957. Their mission is to lead the fight to treat the cure of Tay-Sachs, Canavan, Sandhoff, and related genetic diseases, and to support affected families and individuals in leading fuller lives. The majority of these diseases impact children and are life-limiting in nature. On April 30th, 2016, doctors informed the Ronaldson family that genetic testing revealed Molly and Madeline Ronaldson had juvenile Sandhoff disease. Securing federal funding for research and finding a cure is a challenge, and at this time there is no treatment. Through the efforts of NTSAD and groups across the nation like our local community, financial support has been raised to advance the research for the potential treatment of Sandhoff to the point of human clinical trial, a trial in which the girls may be eligible to participate in. On September 15th, 2018, the NTSAD is holding its 8th National Day of Hope fundraiser titled Hope is on the Horizon, to assist in providing grants for research projects that hold promise and potentially could lead to treatment. To be a part of the 2018 Day of Hope, one can visit ntsad.org website on a national level or support a local event such as Miracles for Molly and Madeline Dance-Off for Sandhoff in Manhattan, Illinois, on behalf of the Ronaldson family, which will be held on September 15th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Wilson Creek Elementary School in Manhattan. Last year, there was a tremendous turnout of county employees and everyone, and I just want to wish Jeff and his family a successful event, and our prayers and success for his daughters.
Thank you very much, Don. We're all behind you. All resolutions approved at the July 19, 2018 County Board meeting have been signed by the County Executive. Good morning, Speaker Mustis, County Board members, elected officials, and the residents of Will County. Each year I've had the privilege of presenting an update of activity in our county and the plans for the future. Today I am proud to share some of our significant accomplishments and outline several exciting projects that are beginning. Will County continues to prosper with steady population growth and many new construction projects. People are drawn to our region because it is a great place to live, work, raise a family, and do business. Our communities are safe, our schools are high quality, our business climate is friendly. County government is working diligently to maintain quality of life while growing the regional economy. The outlook remains very bright for our diverse communities. However, we must continue to actively prepare for our future and act responsibly as we face the challenges of growth. To address our current needs and those in the future, Will County government is in the midst of the largest capital campaign in our 182-year history. This is a very exciting time as we have hosted many ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings for new buildings over the last several years. Since conducting comprehensive space needs assessment and master plan process nearly 10 years ago, we have been taking many steps to consolidate the functions of county government, streamline operational costs, and provide services to our residents in a convenient and efficient manner. Many of these smaller projects laid the foundation for the large-scale projects that are changing the landscape of Will County. In January, we opened the doors to our new state-of-the-art public safety complex on Laraway Road. This $33 million, 86,000 square foot facility houses many of the sheriff's functions that were previously spread all over the locations. The ETSB's administrative offices and the county's consolidated 911 dispatch center, also known as the Laraway Communication Center, are also located here. The centralizing of these public safety offices onto one campus has been challenging, but will meet our needs well into the future. It should be noted that this project was completed ahead of schedule, which would ultimately save taxpayer dollars. Due to our sustainability efforts, Will County was awarded $63,000 from ComEd and NICOR in recognition of the energy-efficient design construction of this complex. ComEd and NICOR officials recognized the use of renewable materials in the building's roof, walls, doors, a reduced number of light fixtures, and an energy-efficient gas boiler. These investments will yield operation cost savings to our taxpayers for years to come. We are making great progress on the new $210 million county courthouse on the site of the former First Midwest Bank building. Considerable work has been done on this building, which will be 10 stories and contain 38 courtrooms. This safe, efficient courthouse will accommodate our judicial needs for many years to come. We anticipate completing this building by the fall of 2020. We are working closely with our partners at the City of Joliet, who see this new courthouse as another piece of the renaissance of downtown Joliet. There is much more to come in downtown area with the reopening of Chicago Street and the new City Plaza to be constructed on the site of the former State's Attorney building at 121 North Chicago Street. We are proud to be part of this renewal of our county seat. The next important capital project is a new county health department building. We are reviewing the capital and operational needs of this facility as we work towards construction of a new building. The current building is nearly 100 years old and has outlived its functional life. The conditions in the existing facility are not what our residents want, nor our staff deserve when they serving the health care needs of Will County. Our health department plays a critical role in ensuring the public health of our county by providing immunizations for our children, ensuring our local restaurants operate safely, and offering behavioral health services for adults. I am proud to report that the Health Department, led by Executive Director Sue Olenek and her team, has completed an inaugural comprehensive strategic plan that it will assist in leading the operations of this agency in the years ahead. The blueprint will guide plans for our future needs in designing a new building. As health care costs continue to rise, so does the need for these services for our residents. A new building will ensure these critical services will be offered in a safe, convenient manner for both our employees and our residents. Building the facilities to provide services to residents is critical, but equally important is planning for the operational costs necessary to provide these vital services to the public. We are now implementing a new IT system that will increase efficiency of service delivery and improve customer service. For example, we recently hosted the formal launch of the new county finance system. This modern platform will improve our financial work by reducing manual processes, ensure accurate reporting, and support timely financial analysis. To support services in the new courthouse, we are in the process of selecting a case management system for our state's attorney, public defender, and probation departments. This system will transfer vital information and judicial cases electronically from law enforcement agencies to the county offices, which is a critical improvement. I want to thank the members of the Integrated Justice Committee, chaired by my Chief of Staff, Nick Palmer, which includes ICT Director Mike Shea, County Board Member Judy Ogala, staff from both the state's attorney and public defender's office, and the other judicial leaders for their hard work throughout this long process. Another innovative technology previous implemented is streamlining the process of obtaining building permits and scheduling inspections in our land use department. The public portal enables people to apply, view, and pay for building permits and schedule inspections from any computer or electronic device. As you can see from this chart, the number of permits issued increase each year, with a nearly 50% increase in activity this year alone. We have also seen a steady increase in the number of inspections that are scheduled online. This technology has reduced the time it takes to obtain a building permit or inspection, and is another great example of bringing government services to the people. As our county continues to grow, we must consider our natural resources and how sustainability can be improved for future generations. Will County is a leader in encouraging green building and solar development practice for new projects. Our highly trained staff can review plans and ensure projects are properly developed and completed using high green and solar standards. In December, the county received a Soul Smart Gold designation under the Sunshot Initiative, a national effort to encourage solar power used in homes and businesses. A solar source page on our website offers educational materials and consumer protection resources to our residents and business owners. I invite all of you to take a look at the link on our website, willcountyillinois.com, to learn more about this exciting new initiative. County government is always working to improve the quality of life for our residents. With our federal, state, and local partners, we've made progress on redeveloping the Ridgewood and Fairmont neighborhoods. Since 2004, we have invested more than $8 million to replace aging sewer and water systems in the Ridgewood area and connect them to the city of Joliet, using federal HUD dollars through the Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Grant programs. We have leveraged more than $1 million in federal dollars to create a housing rehab program in this area. To date, more than $1.3 million has been invested in the Fairmont Home Repair Assistance Program, which is being administered by the Will County Center for Community Concerns. Significant improvements have been made to 17 homes, and another 10 homes are expected to be completed by the end of 2018. Drainage problems that have affected this area for some time are being addressed, with a total investment of an estimated $6 million in this project. We have already expended over $1 million toward the goal, which is expected to be completed by 2022. These substantial improvements are improving the quality of life for these residents and bringing new hope to these neighborhoods to encourage more economic development. As many of you know, Will County is home to North America's largest inland port, with an unprecedented growth in freight transportation. Will County is attractive to international freight companies because of our location and our skilled workforce. With this growth comes challenges, and we are working to balance economic development success while preserving the quality of life for our residents. In this effort, the county has been an active participant in the Chicago Metropolitan Agency on Planning Onto 2050 plan. Last month, the agency hosted open houses across Chicagoland area, including one in New Lenox, seeking input from residents for future regional projects. This study is just one of the many designed to address our challenges with growth and transportation. Our community-friendly freight mobility plan provides guidance for the local freight policies and programs while also identifying high-priority freight projects. The Illinois Department of Transportation helped fund this comprehensive freight study, which includes land use and integration, workforce development, and community livability. We appreciate the financial and other support from Will County Governmental League, the CED, CMAP, JADA, and the Illinois Realtors Association on this important regional study. This study was recognized by the American Council of Engineering Companies with the Engineering Excellent Honor and Best in Category Award as an innovative and collaborative plan to address our transportation needs. This plan will guide future decisions about transportation infrastructure needs and investments in our county. I would like to personally thank Ann Schneider who has been leading this plan since its inception. Ann's background in transportation and her expert knowledge of Will County has enabled her to bring many key players to the table for significant regional transportation planning. The needs of I-80, an important east-west route that supports commerce and travel in our region, remains a critical priority for our county. We are actively engaged with stakeholders on all levels to address the safety and economic needs of this critical highway. We have received the attention of Illinois Chairman Schillerstrom, CMAP Director Sable, and IDOT Secretary Blankenhorn. This collaboration is encouraging real progress towards managing the safety and infrastructure concerns along I-80. We hope to have more positive news to report on these efforts soon. We have also received word that the Joliet Intermodal Transportation Master Plan grant application was approved by IDOT and will receive state funding for this effort. This study will focus on both road infrastructure and land use planning around the intermodal facilities in South Joliet and Elwood, an area that continues to see rapid development. We hope to formally launch this effort later this fall or early 2019. Our notable growth contributes to a stable work environment. Will County led the Metro Chicago region in the percentage of jobs added between June 2017 and June 2018. The number of jobs grew by 3%, or more than 8,000 jobs during this time, with new positions added mostly in wholesale trade, healthcare, and transportation, distribution, logistics industries. We attribute some of this success to the cooperation nature in the collar counties through the Chicago Regional Growth Corporation. This group works together to utilize the strengths of each community and assist the success of the entire metro region to compete with our peers around the country and the world. Key regional initiatives include coordinating development, growing industry clusters, connecting and building stronger networks, and creating a strong identity. Jim Rolfe serves as the chairman of the Chicago Regional Growth Corporation Board of Directors, and he is a strong voice for Will County. Addressing the opiate epidemic in Will County is challenging. This past year, most of the overdose deaths were attributed to fentanyl. Fentanyl looks like heroin, but is 50 times stronger. A large part of our efforts this year have been reducing the barriers to treatment people with opiate addiction are experiencing. These maps created by our GIS department show the impact this epidemic is having on our county. Dr. Kathleen Burke, Director of Substance Use Initiatives, works collaboratively with the many agencies involved in helping those addicted to opiates. Because of her success, we received our third year of funding from the state of Illinois. Through this grant, Dr. Burke has trained more than 800 people to use Narcan and distributed 1,000 boxes of Narcan. Through the Will County Wellness Program, 64 employees have received training. At our annual Heroes Helps Community Summit in March, 75 people received training. Through the expanded Narcan training, more than 70 lives have been saved. We have expanded our Safe Passage network that includes Braidwood, Lockport, Mokina, Lamont, and Romeoville police departments. Individuals seeking treatment can contact these departments and be connected to the help they so desperately need. Through partnerships with these departments, family guidance centers, and AMT counseling, we have successfully connected 50 people to treatment. Family Guidance Centers has introduced Warm Hand Off in the Silver Cross Emergency Room, which offers fast-track entry into treatment for overdose patients. Many of these people do not have insurance. Joliet Township has agreed to partner with the county and donated funds to help with the cost of treatment. As I close my State of the County address today, the next focus will be on the fiscal year 2019 budget recommendation I will present in September. This proposal continues our responsible approach of maintaining a strong financial base for our county. We still face significant challenges as a result of the state of Illinois financial troubles. We remain hopeful the state will continue to pass budgets that are balanced and adequately fund county and municipal government, municipalities. We must continue to push for the full payment of our local distributive funds, which are essential to maintain critical county services. The county share was reduced by $2.4 million in 2017. With these significant reductions in inspected revenue, we are forced to make some difficult decisions regarding our operation expenses and investments. I will share more about the impacts on our county next month in my annual budget address. Despite the many challenges, I truly believe Will County remains a great place to live, work, and raise a family and do business. Our future remains bright, but only if we all work together to achieve the ambitious plans that we have set. Thank you. Next, we have a presentation on Greentown Will County Conference. Samantha Bleemer will make the presentation. Helped out by Kathy Pecora.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Executive.
Thank you.
Wonderful state of the county. County board members, we are here today to make you aware of an event that is upcoming on October 26th. And we're going to keep it brief so we don't have slides here today, but you all are going to receive a personal invitation in your email tomorrow. It's called a Greentown Conference. It is a branded sustainability conference that travels across the Midwest. And we talk about issues from energy efficiency to transportation, water quality and preservation. We talk about food and local food systems, and we also talk about health, including the opioid crisis we face in our region. So we're going to be covering all of these areas. We have a great list of speakers and a wonderful list of sponsors, including the Will County Forest Preserve, Waste Management, Window World of Joliet, a whole nother litany. I'm missing Farnsworth Group. We've had great support. So we're very excited to host this event. It'll be all day at the Renaissance Center right here in downtown Joliet. But we do have a special component that's just for our elected officials to accommodate your busy schedules. And that's from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning. And Kathy Pecora is going to tell you a little bit about that breakfast.
Good morning. One of the sponsors she left out is Heroes West Sports Grill. We would like to invite all of our elected officials, including our county board members, to please join us for the elected officials breakfast that will be held at the Renaissance Center on the second floor on the 26th of October from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. or a.m. We're going to have renowned chef Bringus prepare all locally grown and sourced Will County meats and produce for the event. And this will be a great opportunity because we know that all of our county board members have their pulse on what is going on in their districts. And so this way you can interface with your municipal leaders within your districts and share common goals, opportunities, and obstacles in a constructive way. And for all of you out there saying, well, I'm not an elected official, but I sure would like to attend this breakfast, sponsorship starts at $500. So please consider sponsoring. You'll have a seat at the table, and you too can interact with all of our elected officials who have up-to-date, immediate information on what's going on throughout Will County. I hope you can attend.
Yes, and if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer those. Yes.
Sam, you or Kathy or anybody Will County Land Use making any part of presenters for this event on 26th?
Are we making any?
Presenters. You guys, anybody land use?
Yes,
You are?
there will be some staff presenters from Will County. We have presenters from several organizations in the area, and I also want to mention that this event is absolutely happening in partnership with the City of Joliet. I left that out, very important piece. We'll have speakers from the city, we'll have speakers from
Well, if
our
I'm gonna get
business
up that
community.
early, I want to make sure Will County is presenting.
You're-
yeah.
I'm gonna get up that early.
We're going to be
All
there, and
right.
there's going to be a wonderful breakfast.
Okay.
Breakfast. By the
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we're going to have some keynote speakers throughout the breakfast.
Okay.
Former Mayor of Aurora, Tom Weisner, speaking about about planning throughout our region. And also through the day, every one of the tracks that are going to be presented will be led by a member of Will County.
All right.
So health, food, recycling, solar, renewable energy, we'll have a lead for that track that is part of the core committee, which is predominantly members of Will County staff.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
7:30 a.m. is the time of day.
Okay, moving forward. Our first committee this morning, Land Use and Development Committee, Mr. Weigel, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tom.
First item is to open the public hearing for land use cases, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Balich. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Brooks? Summers? Moran? Rice? Harris? Benefield? Fritz? Gould? Militello? Balich? Frizzalone? Winfrey? Parker? Staley Ferry? Dollinger? Markham? Hart? Tumanello? Weigel?
Yes.
Ferry? And Mustis.
20 affirmative. We are in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. This morning, we have 7 cases. Case ZC 18-029, case ZC-18-029, 030, case ZC 18-30, excuse me, 032, case ZC 18-048, case ZC 18-009, case ZC 18-010, and case ZC 18-011. So, public hearing is open. We have one gentleman, Michael Martin, is here to just answer any question that comes out of these cases. And then I got a so anybody from the public wishes to talk? Anybody wishes to say anything on the zoning cases? On these zoning cases? On these zoning cases? Anyone want to speak on these zoning cases? Mr. Wagle.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved by Mr. Wagle, second by Mr. Gould. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Brooks? Yes. Summers? Yes. Moran? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris? Yes. Benefield? Yes. Fritz? Yes. Gould? Yes. Militello? Yes. Balich? Yes. Frizzalone?
Yes.
Winfrey? Yes. Parker? Yes. Staley Ferry? Yes. Dollinger? Yes. Markham? Yes. Hart? Yes. Tuminello? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Ferry? Yes. And Mustis?
Yes.
Thank you.
21 affirmative.
21, public hearing has been closed. Mr. Weigel, please continue.
Our first case, ZC 18029, is requesting a special use permit for a major public utility solar farm in Crete Township. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next case, ZC 18030, is a special use permit for a major public utility solar farm in Crete Township. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor, say by signifying by yes. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next case, ZC 18032, is a special use permit for solar farm in Manhattan, Illinois. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Gould. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Next case, ZC 18048, is a special use permit for major public utility. This is in Peatone, Illinois. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Markham, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next case, ZC 18009, is a special use permit for a solar farm in Manhattan, Illinois. I'd like to mention that at committee we approved 14 conditions. However, the resolution in your packet has 13 conditions. They were consolidated, the same information that we approved at our committee. The state's attorney said that we do not have to amend our resolution. So I make a motion for approval.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Melitello, second by Mr. Tumanello. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Next case, ZC 18010, is a special use permit for solar farm in Moni. And this is the same where it was reduced from 14 to 13 conditions. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Summers. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Markham. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next case, ZC 18011, is a special use permit for solar farm in Beecher, Illinois. This also was consolidated into 13 conditions. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Summers. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next item is Resolution 221, amending Section 155 of the Will County zoning ordinance, agritourism, rural events. This is to allow such things as a wedding barn, and it would require a special use permit. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Dollinger, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Next resolution, 18222, amending Section 155, Will County zoning ordinance concerning wineries, craft brewing, and distilling. We revised this to not make it necessary to have a tour in order to have product sales in the tasting room. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Ballage. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next resolution, 18-223, amending Section 150 of our building code concerning expired permits. We have been working on this for the past year and a half, and we've come up with a ordinance change that says you're not allowed to get a building permit unless you close out all other previous building permits. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Tumanello. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Fritz. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Our next committee meeting will be September 11th. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Next up, Finance Committee, Mr. Frizzlone.
Good
Chairman.
morning, Will County.
Good morning,
First,
Michael.
we have some reports. Report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of May 2018 to be $1,635,027.80. The RTA tax received is $1,931,098.01 for a total of $3,566,125.81. We also have the monthly report dated June 30th from the Will County Treasurer Steve Weber, and I make a motion to put these on
Moved by
file.
Mr. Fritz, or Mr. Frizzlone, second by Ms. Dollinger. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
I have Resolution 18-224 designating First Secure Community Bank of Joliet as a county depository, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzlone, second by Ms. Parker. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Staley Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
And we have 18-225, authorizing county executive to execute necessary documents for delinquent tax program, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Summers, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
That's all I have this month, and our next meeting is September 4th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Next up, Public Works Transportation Committee, Mr. Gould, Chairman.
Members, first I have Resolution 18226, amending the Will County Code relative to wireless telecommunications facilities in county rights-of-way, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Hart. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rice, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 18227, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for right-of-way acquisition services with J. Heap and Associates Limited for several parcels of property along Laraway Road from Cedar Road to Stonebridge Drive in County Board District 12. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanello. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Fritz, second by Ms. Melatello. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion's carried.
Resolution 18228, authorizing the approval of MFT funds for right-of-way acquisition services by the county under the Illinois Highway Code for several parcels of property along Laraway Road from Cedar Road to Stonebridge Drive, County Board District 12. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Dollinger. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Markham. All in favor say by aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 18229, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services with the Ciorba Group on 80th Avenue from 191st Street North to 183rd Street, County Board Districts 2 and 12. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanello. Any questions? Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 18230, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering services with Epstein and Sons International on Bell Road at the intersection of 143rd Street, County Board District 7. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Ballage. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Thank you. Our next meeting is September 4th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Don. Next up, Judicial Committee, Mr. Benefield, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive,
Good morning,
fellow board
Darren.
members. We just have one resolution this morning. It's 18-231, approval of the fiscal year 2018 application and allocation of Justice Assistance Grant Program. It's also authorizing the execution of the Memorandum of Understanding with the City of Joliet, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Benefield, second by Mr. Tumanello. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Fritz, second by Ms. Dollinger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. And just one other item that I'd like to mention this morning. The CASA of Will County has been selected as a State Farm Neighborhood Assist Top 200 finalist. So help us to win a $25,000 grant so that we can provide more programs and services for abused and neglected children in our community. As you know, recently County Board staff sent out an email encouraging us vote for CASA beginning today until August 24th to make our neighborhood a safer and more loving place for children. You can vote 10 times a day from August 15th to the 24th to get CASA of Will County to be one of the top 40 nonprofits in the nation, and also to receive a $25,000 grant from State Farm Neighborhood Assist. I would just want to say that I've already voted. It's very easy. You can fill out the form and make your 10 votes all at one time. So please contact the county board if you'd like additional information, and please support CASA. With that, I'd like to say that our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 4th at 9 a.m., and we hope to see you there.
Thank you, Darren. Next up is Public Health and Safety Committee. Chairing that committee this morning, County Board Don Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Mrs. Ogalla unfortunately had to attend a funeral this morning, so there is one resolution from the committee for diabetic supplies at Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I will move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Summers. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Committee meets again September 6th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Don. Next up is Legislative and Policy Committee. Ms. Hart, Chairman.
Good morning.
Person.
Thank you. Thank you, Executive. We did not meet this month. There's really nothing right now, being election year and everything else going on for the summer, and it is that time of year. It's also that time of year that we're going to talk about the next year's initiatives and priorities. We have our federal lobbyists that are coming in town that will be attending on September 11th, and as well as our state lobbyist. So I've asked already, and I'm just another reminder, and I can't emphasize on this enough, to please attend all of our department heads on September 11th for our next meeting, so we can go over the different priorities, as well as I'm going to start sending out from their organizations that they belong to of where their priorities are. So I'm just really asking everyone to kind of go through, and as well with county board members, to go through the different bills that have gone in the past and the legislation that hopefully comes here into the future. So that's all that I have. And like I said, the next meeting will be on September 11th at 9:30.
Thank you very much, Susan.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Capital Improvements Committee, Mr. Tuminello, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive.
Good morning, Mary.
Fellow board members. There are no resolutions to be voted on this morning. However, in your packet, there is a capital improvements project summary from August in your packet. So if you would like to get updated on where we're at with all the capital projects that we have going on, feel free to read that. Our next capital improvement meeting is scheduled for September 4th at 11 a.m. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Next up, Executive Committee, Mr. Mustis, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, county board members. My first item today is 18233, authorizing a lease agreement for mail management system, and I'll move for approval.
Oh.
There I am. I'm on.
There I am.
There.
Sorry.
That's okay. Do you want me to do it again?
No. We know what you
I did 233. I move for approval.
We know what you mean.
Okay.
No, we made motion, okay.
I made the motion.
My motion second by Ms. Dollinger. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Markham, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next, I have 18234, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with Homer Glen for household hazardous waste, and I will move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Musta, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Dollinger, second by Ms. Melitello. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next, I have Resolution 18235, authorizing the execution of the Home Program Consortium Agreement, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Brooks. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Staley Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
18236, at the request of the Supervisor of Assessments, I'm going to make a motion to remove 18236.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Brooks. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Harris, seconded by Ms. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary motion as carried.
18237, replacement hires for Emergency Management Agency, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, seconded by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Tumanello. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion has carried.
Next, 18238, replacement hires for the County Executive Management Department, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Mustis and seconded by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Moran and seconded by Ms. Summers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary motion is carried.
18239, replacement hires for LCC 911 Communication Center, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, seconded by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Tumanello, seconded by Ms. Fritz. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion has carried.
The next Executive Committee meeting is scheduled for September 6th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Jim.
Next will be the appointments of the county executive, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, seconded by Mr. Brooks. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Staley Ferry, seconded by Ms. Summers. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion has carried.
Mr. Executive, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Jim. Next up is public comment. We have one person here to come on up. Come on up. Violet Radwell. Yeah. Every month.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Walls.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to be here again. And the reason why I'm here is because I really would like to make a change in the way how contractors who do work service here in Will County, they have to change their attitude. When I was here last time, I got an advice from Mr. Walls to hire a contractor. I purchased this bungalow brick house in Lockport. It's an old one in 2016. It needs a lot of repair, especially the roof, and then the end of the house, and then some windows are open. And I said to myself, I have been doing this alone because my husband passed away in 2007. I said, I'll take my time. I can take care of everything. There is a solution to every problem. And that's what I've been doing. So when I was here, Mr. Walls had given advice, hire a contractor. And when I got home the following week, I looked at the list that I received. I got from Mr. Denise, list of contractors, and so I called all of them, and then one agreed to come to 508 Harvard Street, Lockport. So I met this gentleman. And then he saw the front side of the house, small, with the roof, shingles falling apart, and then the wood fell apart. Of course, because it needs a new roof. Some of the windows with cracked glass windows and open. I said to myself, before this contract came, I can take care of everything. Even though I'm a woman and alone, I can do it. So the contractor came. I was able to, and then after that, as soon as he came out of his van, when he saw the front of my house, excuse me, I do not live in Lockport. I have been living in Downers Grove, a part of DuPage County, since 1991, when my husband bought that property. And my experience with this contractor, it's terrible. I never had that experience in Downers Grove. Anyway, he came out of his van and he said, "Your house is a tear down." I look at him. You know, you need a bulldozer to tear down your house. I still look at him. And after that, after he said those words, it was a very degrading statement. I was shocked. He left, and he went to his van and he left. I said to myself, this contractor, they talk to homeowners. They come to the homeowners' property. They do not have code of ethics. They do not give respect to the owner who they would meet. I don't agree with the way how these contractors do. Pardon me. But I never had, since my husband passed away, I never had that kind of experience in Downers Grove. Never. That's why my point, the reason why I'm here is because for each and every one of you to be aware how contractors treat the residents or homeowners in Will County. They cannot just say, because the house, I could change the roof, that's not a problem. But for him to say that my house, which was, needs tear down and I would need a bulldozer to tear down the house, that's a terrible statement. That's why I am here. Because my experience, I don't want any contractor to say those words to any homeowner in Will County. That is why I am here. Please give respect. The contractor, they should learn how to give respect to the homeowners. And they should be guided by their code of ethics if they have a code of ethics in their profession. And that's all. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from the general public wishes to speak? Anyone else from the general public wishing to speak? Next up, comments by county board members. Any county board members wish to speak? Ms. Dollinger.
Thank you, Executive Larry Walsh. I'd like to just bring to the attention of the county board that at our public health meeting this month, we had the pleasure of having Jenny Gorsuch come and speak to us about the MAP initiative. And each of you received a profile for your district. And I just want to make sure that you are aware that the profiles are also in a PDF form from the minutes from the Public Health Department meeting that we had this last month of August. It's great information for you to see about the health of your district, along with looking at the other districts and see what's happening in the other districts and see how you might compare. I also think it's a great way for you to look and see maybe some initiatives that you can bring into your district. And so I really want to thank our Will County Health Department and the people in that office there, and also the people on the MAP initiative for the hard work that they did. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Any other county board member wishes to speak? Moving on, Majority Leader, Mr. Mayor is not here. Mr. Fritz? Mr. Frizzle.
Fritz Frizzle.
Actually, my nickname is Fritz back in the hood, so.
You knew that.
Oh, I knew that.
No problem. First, you mentioned Chuck. I do want to say a get well to Chuck. He's recuperating from hip surgery. He's got about 3 blocks down he could walk now. He still can't drive, but hopefully in the next couple weeks he'll be fully mobile again. As I said up at the podium, I wanted to mention about Men Who Cook. Again, I know many of you, probably all of you, have attended in the past. This is an important year because we're changing venues. And you know what happens when you change venues and you change dates. People get all out of sorts and it kind of throws them off. But we had to move the venue because we couldn't accommodate the crowds anymore. We were up to 1,000 people last week. We didn't have enough parking, and kind of started to run out of room to cram people into that building. So this year, Chicagoland Speedway has done a nice job of allowing us to use their venue. There's going to be plenty of parking. It's going to be a little bit more open. We hope we'll even have some more cooks. But what is important is the date changed as well. So now we're going to be in the fall. So it's September 22nd from 6 to 9. So you can go online at menwhocook.info and you can buy your tickets right there. So I'd appreciate if all the board members show up. I'm sure we'll see most of you there. And then lastly, I'd like to say over the last 2.5 months, when I leave for work in the morning at 7:15, you know, the drive is nice, kind of quiet. There might be 1 or 2 people walking dogs, but just in the last couple of days, as my kids used to call them, the cheese wagons are out, the big school buses, and there's kids everywhere in packs of 5, 6, and 7. So if you could just slow down in the mornings and in the evenings when the kids are out, they're kind of getting familiar with where their new bus route is too, so they may be a little lost. So make sure you are aware of them. Thanks.
That's very good advice. Thank you. Next up, our Minority Leader, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Mr. Executive and County Board members. It is still morning.
Yes, it is.
Let me begin with the thank you to Waste Management, Dale Hoekstra. Not only am I grateful for the contributions that Waste Management makes to our Will County, but also to my District 8. It has gone a long way to help a lot of non-for-profit agencies. And once again, I just can't thank Dale and Waste Management enough for the contributions they have made into my district. Also, Mr. Walsh, I want to thank you once again for your speech. One of the things I always look at is kind of like a sermon when I preach on Sunday. I think about the first sentence and then I may not remember the rest of it. But yours I did because, because not like church, but you started out with a bright future. And that was one of the first things that you said, and I do appreciate that. Although you concluded with some challenges we have in the state of Illinois, you did remind us how great this board and you and the capital improvement projects are going on and the wonderful job that together that we are making here in Will County. So thank you for that speech. Also, I want to thank everybody here on this county level. And last week, I sat in this chair during the Forest Preserve Commissioner, and I did thank our president and Forest Preserve members for all the kind words and cards. My mom passed away in Wisconsin last month. I had to miss the meeting here, but I also want to come to the county level to thank you, the county-wise, and all these board members for all the wonderful remarks, flowers, cards that I've got during the time of my mother's passing. Thank you all so much. Also want to just remind you, Mike Frizzalone mentioned about back to school, but one of the things, Mike, I want to share with you that we do here in the city of Joliet. Schools start back Monday in grade school, District 86, NAACP, National Hookup of Women. There's so many other organizations partnering up, and there's a group of men that I will be joining on Monday morning at 7 a.m. at Washington Junior High School in Joliet, because what we do is a group of men come together and we escort young people to school that day. We're trying to increase the enrollment numbers and get our young people out. So I will be at Washington Junior High School at 7 a.m. Monday morning the 20th. If anybody want to join me, bring me coffee and donuts. I'll be on the corner there. But that is something we do to welcome our young people back into our grade school, and it's a wonderful organization that started about 3 years ago. And lastly, I certainly want to thank wish my colleague Chuck Mayer speedy recovery. It didn't surprise me that he had to have hip surgery because I saw him in Columbus, Ohio, NACO last year, the way he was dancing, not only with his wife and his daughter on that floor. So I hope as he gets well soon and come back. Thank you all. Thank you for the remarks, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Bush. Next up is our County Board Speaker, Mr. Mustis.
First comment I'd like to make is, the event the Nez said, Day of Hope. I'd ask everybody to support that. Jeff Ronaldson has 2 daughters that have this condition, and Jeff's one of us, and I ask everyone to support Jeff and his family and the organization to continue to find a cure for this terrible genetic disorder. Moving on, you know, I don't know why, Mr. Executive, I seem to enjoyed your presentation more this year, maybe than I have in the past. But maybe that's because, boy, we really have accomplished a lot in a fairly short period of time. You know, the initiatives of our capital initiatives to make government more efficient, to make our streets safer, to make our community healthier. I mean, really, I think they're tremendous capital investments for the public. You know, the other thing I'm particularly proud of, I think, and the county should be proud of, is our friendly freight study. And it's friendly, we say friendly because, you know, even though we had many participants, it really was an initiative by the county, primarily funded by the county. And once we started, others said, hey, this is a great initiative, and they got on board. I would say the CED was there right with us, too. I mean, they were right in the front end of this. So I think that we should be particularly proud of that study because it's going to lessen the impact, as the executive said. One of our, you know, economic development, we are all for good paying jobs, good economic development, economic opportunity. But we don't do it at any cost. You know, we have to look how it impacts our communities, and that's what this freight study does. So I'm particularly proud of that. So now I'll tell you I'm particularly proud of all of you, because, you know, it all kind of starts here. We may pass the administrative stuff up, but remember, it all kind of starts here, and the funding starts here, and we have a great team to move things forward. Certainly Ann Schneider was one of the recommendations from the executive's office. Turned out to be really a great consultant partner for us in those initiatives. So I'm particularly proud this year of everything we were able to accomplish, and let's keep it up. And I think a lot of that occurs because even though we can have some differences on a board, we're pretty much work in unison to bring the people's agenda forward. So thank you all. And Larry, the White Sox, I'm thinking we're about 3 years out. You know, at any rate, we're starting football season. It's a nice distraction for us Sox fans. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Being no more business come forward, we'll stand adjourned September 20th, Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
So you see how see you for a minute. I don't know if you have lunch.